Hi there, welcome to another Friday Findings video. Today I thought I would talk to you all about wire gauge and explain what it is and what it isn't and how it can be useful to know. Wire gauge is just a measurement of the diameter of the cross section of wire. And the one thing that people find most confusing about wire gauge is that the smaller the number, the thicker the wire. Now there are a few different kinds of gauge used. There's the American wire gauge system, there's the standard or British or imperial wire gauge system, and they can be different. I'm mostly focusing on the American wire gauge system, and using crafting materials, it's pretty standard. Tell you about a tool that will help you if you do have different wire. So this here is 12 gauge wire, pretty heavy stuff, and it's approximately 2 millimeters, just a smidge over 2 millimeters in diameter. And then next to that we have 14 gauge wire, which is just a little bit smaller. It's a little over 1.6 millimeters. Then we have 16 gauge wire and 18 gauge wire, and 18 gauge wire is just about 1 millimeter, 1.02 millimeters. Then we have 20, so you can see it's getting finer and finer as we go down. 24, 26, and then this very, very fine, almost thread-like wire is 28 gauge. Now you may find it handy. I'll have this on my blog. This is a handy little chart that tells you the different numbers. You know, like 6 gauge wire is just over 4 millimeters in diameter. And here you have 18, and the measurements are also in inches if you find that helpful, although since I've started jewelry making I've found that millimeters are much easier to deal with. So keep that in mind. Whenever you want to go up a size in gauge, remember that the number gets smaller, and when you want to go down a size, the number gets larger. And finally, if you have some wire that isn't labeled, perhaps you got it, like I got this stuff out of electrical cable, out of Romex cable. If you have some wire that isn't labeled, you can use this little tool to help you measure it. All you do is you slide it through the hole of this gauge and then see which slot it will come out of. You can see that this is too big to be 10, so it's maybe somewhere between 12 and 10 gauge. But that's how you can tell what size wire you have, or if your wires come loose from the packaging. Very handy. So I know that that's 28 gauge wire. So I hope you found this helpful as you work with wire in your jewelry and your other craft projects in knowing what's what in wire gauge.